Hello and welcome. I'm Joke Rogers. Coming up on Network Africa. Zimbabwe's incoming president, Emerson Mnangagwa, has promised to provide jobs, and even more jobs for the people. 30,000 Africans living in enslaved conditions in Libya have been offered refugee status in Rwanda. And later, architects from Africa take part in the Dubai Design Week. Welcome to the program. Zimbabwe is still in the news, as it had been all week. The country's incoming president, Emerson Mnangagwa, who returned home as a hero, has called on citizens, regardless of their political affiliation, to work with him to improve the economy, create employment, and stamp out corruption. As a new era begins, thousands of supporters who flooded the ZANU-PF party headquarters in Harare to welcome him remain very expectant, following nearly 4 decades of Robert Mugabe's rule. Mnangagwa says he will spell out his vision for the country at his inauguration on Friday, after which he will name a new government. Meanwhile, Zimbabwe's former president, Robert Mugabe, has been granted immunity from prosecution and assured that his safety is guaranteed in the country as part of a deal that led to his resignation.
No one is more important than the other. We are all Zimbabweans. We want to grow our economy. We want peace in our country. We want jobs in our country. We need also the cooperation of our neighbors in SADC. We need the cooperation of the continent of Africa. We need the cooperation of our friends outside the continent. That we shall achieve. I'm already receiving messages of cooperation and support for us to grow our economy.
Meanwhile, the promise of job creation may not be the only solution to Zimbabwe's financial problems. The International Monetary Fund says rescuing the economy may be a huge challenge, and the new president must act quickly to dig the economy out of a hole and seek international financial aid. Zimbabwe's mission chief, Jean Leon, says government spending and foreign debt are too high and the country needs structural reforms. He adds that immediate action is critical to reduce the deficit to a sustainable level, accelerate structural reforms, and re-engage with the international community to gain access to the much-needed financial support. Still on Zimbabwe's economy, the stock market has shed nearly a third of its value in a week, with investors dumping stocks since the military seized power on November the 15th. Some foreign-owned businesses have taken precautionary measures to safeguard their human and capital assets. Despite initial fears, most have remained open and are trading as normal.
For a while, the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange looked unstoppable. A record-breaking bull run, fueled by inflation, where investors seeking refuge in stocks propelled the market to peak of about $50 billion in early November. Analysts expected a self-correction to cap the spectacular run, but say last week's military operation has only accelerated matters.
To date, I think we've lost north of 4 billion in terms of market capitalization. Are we still going down? In my view, yes, there's still a lot of downside. We might actually see the market, we believe the market is going to bottom down somewhere inside of 10 billion. And we still have got a few days more to go before we see stability coming back to the market.
Impending changes on the political landscape could lure investors with a long-term focus.
Right now we are staring into real possibilities that probably will see changes on the policy front. There are possibilities that we might actually see changes on the indigenization front, tax laws and so forth. So if you look at that in the long term, I think this is very good for companies.
With Robert Mugabe resigning as president, The new administration will face the massive challenge of addressing the festering issues that have plunged the country into the current economic crisis.
I suspect that everyone knows that fixing the economy is a very, very urgent issue. Giving confidence to the young people without jobs, giving confidence to the investors, working with the rest of the world so that whatever we can get from anywhere in order to get our country going once again.
Under Mugabe, Zimbabwe was largely isolated by the international community and has struggled to attract significant foreign investment. Experts are hoping the change of guard in the government will also bring change to the economy.
Zimbabwean flags